I was just laying in bed and I could not even listen to a podcast for 5 minutes. It was too much. I could not listen to music. It was way too much. I could not cook. I could not go to the grocery store. I literally laid in bed. This really devastated me because it was like ain't nobody's understanding me. It's
No.
crazy because today it's the first time since that I drove the car, and I just drove there 20 minutes and was listening to music and the window rolled down, the arm outside. I just drove with my dog to the forest and we went outside, and then I was going home making this interview, and now I sit here. I'm like, yeah, 6 months before I was just laying in bed. Now I'm here. It's not a
Wow.
dream.
How's it going, everybody? Miguel here with CFS Recovery. In this video, we have very exciting story we want to bring to you. We have Annette here, and she has been dealing with CFS and hypersensitive nervous system issues for about 14 months. She actually came down with long COVID last year, and since then she was on this journey of trying to recover, and now she's really starting to thrive. And we're going to get more into this. It's really exciting to have you here, Annette. You want to just quickly introduce yourself?
hmm Yeah, so my name is Annette. I'm based in Austria, Upper Austria, and I'm 26 years old.
Awesome. So thank you for being here, and we're going to share some inspiring stuff with everybody today. Now, tell us how you first got sick. So you came down with COVID. What was life like leading up to that? Were you pretty stressed, or was there other stuff going on, or how did you fall into all of this?
So my life before COVID was kind of alright, I have to say. But of course, when I look back, I realized that I've gone through some stressful situations, some really stressful situations, because I worked abroad in Switzerland and I just got back to my hometown and I started a new job again, and there were a lot of changes again and a lot of work again because I used to work in the hospital. And yeah, my life was like almost like working full time, and I started dancing as well and working out, so it was like pretty dense times, I have to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of
Yeah.
things happening in your life at that time.
Yeah, and you have to say also, working in hospital in terms of COVID and in COVID times is not the easiest job. So yeah.
So you're working in the hospital. I guess that's probably where you got it from. So what was it like when it first hit you? Did it hit you really hard and you got a bit better and then it hit you again, or what did that look like?
No, it actually hit me at the first day pretty hard. I remember when I called my mom at the first day. I got tested positive, and I was asking her to bring some sleep medications because I had the worst night ever. A lot of tinnitus, a lot of sleep issues, and it was just horrible. And I just asked her, please give me something. I need to sleep. I cannot stand this because, of course, I had also severe symptoms. Also, like my throat was really sore, and yeah, it was pretty
Mm,
intense.
got it. And then from there, did you kind of just get worse after that? Like your body just wouldn't recover?
Yes, so I just realized since the day one something is not right with my brain. I keep on forgetting things. I mean, I was just in my flat in these days, in the first few days, but it seems like something is wrong with my brain. I could not make decisions. I could not really move around. I just forget to eat and to drink, and this did not happen before. And then we called emergency because I just got insane. I could not remember things, and my mother got
Mhm.
really worried because of that. But yeah,
Got it. So it was a lot of brain fog you were experiencing in the
yes.
beginning. Lots of brain fog.
Mm,
Okay. And what other things? Because I know when we first talked, not too long ago, you were having that tinnitus, the headaches, the pain, some pain in your hands, like lots of insomnia, and you were really wired, but tired. Were those your main symptoms?
Yes, the wiredness was the main symptom. Yeah. I just lay down and I couldn't relax. And the severe brain fog. I could not go shopping, or I also could not, because there were situations like where I found like my recipes from my doctor into my fridge or some stuff like this, and or
Oh, just without realizing it, you accidentally put it there?
yeah, I just did not realize it. Or when I went to the shower, I did not realize if I already shampooed myself or not. I had to write
Oh,
it down, everything, every step.
wow. Yeah, that's pretty scary, right? You really do feel like you're going crazy. And
Yeah,
do you think it
I
was a
really,
lack of sleep, or kind of everything?
I thought it's not only because of the lack of sleep. I thought I will get dementia now.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
It's funny you mentioned that because I also thought that. I thought I had dementia and Parkinson's, and I was only 22 years old at the time, but I
mm,
was shaking and I couldn't even think straight. So,
mm,
when you were trying to fix all of it, what kind of stuff did you try and what were the doctors saying? Even when you went to emergency room, what did they say?
yeah, I tried some things. Most of them did not work. Of course, I tried like medication, supplements, of course, and other treatments like hemolaser, global diagnostics. But nothing of them really works. So the doctor said that I should go on rehab because they have no, they have no other treatment than rehab. But rehab got me much worse. Rehab got
Mm,
me actually bedridden, and it got much worse.
you crashed. This rehab center you went to, was this a long COVID clinic?
The first rehab center was not actually a long COVID clinic. They said that it's a little bit easier for me because I was so bad. They say a long COVID clinic is not that perfect for me. Yeah.
Hmm. Got it. And were they treating it as CFS, or like what were they treating it as at the clinic?
No, no, they were actually trained for physical exercise, and I should have been there for 3 weeks, but I went into the emergency room after 1 week because out of these physical exercises I had to do, they forced me to do. Of course, I got worse and worse and worse, and I cramped, and 2 times there, and then I went to the hospital, cramped there again, and they sent me
Mm,
home after this.
wow. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
And that must be frustrating too, right? Because they made you worse and they should have made you better.
Yes, it was complete. I was completely devastated at this point, but it was also not the worst point of my life because I still had hope, because before that I got already better. I could already cycle, I could already walk, I could already go outside 4 hours per day with no symptoms. After this rehab, I crashed so much and I got bedridden, but I told myself, I know what to do. I can get better again because, I treated myself before good.
Hmm.
So that reminded me of I knew what I need to do to get better at this time. So it was devastating, but I still knew where the path is going. You know?
Hmm. You always had that hope and belief in yourself because you had
Yeah.
done it once already, right? That's awesome. And yeah, just to give people an idea of where you were at, you know, so you were bedridden at one point, like you really could not function.
Yeah, there was a point in my life where I laid on the floor and I could not get up anymore. And yeah, it was about like 3 months. It took me 3 months to walk again outside because I live in the fourth floor without an elevator. So yeah,
Wow. Well, very different from what you're capable of doing today, which is
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
and we'll talk about that in a bit. So, I mean, congrats to you for sticking it through those hard times and just, I mean, you always had that thriver mentality, it sounds like, even before you came into the program. You knew
Yes,
you were going to get
yeah,
better.
I think so too. I mean, like I had half of this, I guess, because since I got sick, I just thought I need to do something to get out of this. And there were two things I took with me. The first day I got sick was like the first thing was like having a fixed routine, and the second one was writing a good book. I just have a book where I write all the good things in my life,
Mm.
because the bad things they're coming for sure, and the good things I can just
Hmm.
write down and rely on them.
So it's like a gratitude journal,
Yeah, kind of.
something like that. That's awesome. Cool. So, let's fast forward to, when you're already getting a little bit better, gaining some traction, getting your life back. You came across my YouTube channel and, we chatted, and then you end up joining the Recovery Jumpstart program. What made you want to join the Recovery Jumpstart program?
Actually, I was seeking for a community that has the same, that I can speak to, that we can work through this together, that I don't have to be alone anymore in this process. That's the thing why I really wanted to join this program. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And what
And
made you want to join this versus, a lot of other programs out there? Was it that our community just seemed a lot more in tune with what we were looking for?
yeah, I mean, like I was like going through your YouTube channel and your Insta story, and I just thought that must be the right thing. It's so clear, it's so well, it's so good to understand, it's easy to understand, and that's what I saw in these YouTube channels. And I got better when I was watching your YouTube channels. So that's the point where I thought this is the answer. It was like someone is reading my mind. It's before that, it was every time when I'm talking about my story, everybody was staring at me like, what are you talking about? And I did not even have to say anything. There was just a connection. I felt like someone in this world has the clue and understand what is going on. And that's where I thought, this is the right thing, this is the answer, this is the way to go. I did not
Hmm.
think twice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was the same with my doctor because he had so much confidence and conviction. He told me, Miguel, you're going to get better. We have the solution for this. It's actually not that complex of a problem to fix. And I was like, really? That's the first time anybody ever told me that. Everybody else just looks at me like I'm crazy. So it was really nice to hear that. And, I'm glad that clicked for you as well. So
Yeah,
let's talk
it gave
about
me a lot
some
of
of your,
relief. Mhm.
yeah,
Relief,
a lot of
relief. So,
relief. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's talk about some of your wins because you've had some amazing wins recently. And then it's great to have that communication with the coaches because a lot of times you're asking us, hey, I want to go do this thing. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's okay based on where I'm at? And to go from bedridden for 3 months, unable to walk outside, to doing what you're doing now is amazing. And it's all happened within just the last, year or so. So what was your biggest win so far in the last few months? I mean, there's so many, but let's
Hmm.
start with the biggest one that comes to mind. Is it the dance festival? Is it the dancing? What is it?
Mm, the biggest win for me was actually to manifest that I can trust myself, and only myself. That I can trust my body, and I can read my body, and this is the biggest win for me. Yeah, that I'm just
Mhm.
getting
Yeah.
more secure.
Yeah. And tell us about your trip to Vienna.
Um, yeah, I went to Vienna. Actually, it was kind of hard because one day before I went to Vienna, I was a little scared, thinking a lot. How would it be? You have to know that I used to study and live in Vienna for about 5 to 6 years, and I have a lot of friends there, and I could not go there obviously because of CFS. And yeah, it was a big dream of me getting there again, being able to walk around the city. And yeah, the day before I get kind of anxious, and I started thinking, what if something is happening? What if it's too long? What if I cannot make it? And I really fight it with my mind. It was a really hard fight because the brain always wants to be where it is. It does not like to try out new things, and I haven't been to Vienna for like about 2 years. So yeah, and then the next day I was like, well, there's no perfect time to go, so I will just go now. And I just had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
I went dancing
Mm-hmm.
for 2.5 hours there, and I walked 14,000 steps. And then I went dancing again to a techno open air. And after this, I went home. Yeah, I was there about
Yeah.
8 hours,
It was a full.
more than
That was
eight
all in one
hours.
day, right? That's all
Yeah,
in
it
one
was
day.
one day. Yeah,
Holy
I
cow!
just enjoyed it. And then I didn't even get a real setback.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome. If anything, it like unlocked a new level of health for you because it's like just doing normal things again. You had that happiness and
yeah.
that it reawakened old neural pathways in your brain of what it's like to be normal.
Mm,
So that was super cool to see. And I know everybody in the Wins channel were super stoked to see that. Very excited. And tell me more about the dancing because you love dancing, right? I
mm,
remember that's one of the things you mentioned on our application call. You just want to
yeah,
dance, not
yeah.
have to worry about symptoms, and you're doing lots of dancing now, handstands, all that stuff. So, what's it like
Yeah,
being able to do all that again?
it just makes me so happy because dancing was the North Star in my darkest days. It just was always there for me in my mind, and being able to do this again, not only thinking about it, but just really doing it, just really going dancing, meeting the other friends is just unbelievable. And it gives me so much joy. I started dancing just for half an hour. I mean, I started with going to the place where the dance social is for half an hour and just got back. I did this for like 1 month, and then I started dancing my first dance there, getting an
Hmm.
adrenaline rush, getting back again. But it's just amazing. It's just you cannot describe it in words. It's just amazing because dancing followed me through this whole journey. And I always imagined in my head like being able to dance again. It was just my dream. And then being able physically to do it, it's just amazing. It gives you pure happiness. It's just a lot of gratitude that you just hold on to those things, that you committed to this journey and that you did not give up.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, it gives me so much back. And I just knew why I'm doing this for. And yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Mm,
And one more thing, because I know a big win for you is just the social aspect of things, going out with new friends, meeting new friends, having that
mm,
social life, because that's something that we're kind of robbed of when we get sick. I remember I
yeah.
was seeing all my friends have fun and I felt like the whole world was leaving me behind. So, what is it like now being able to do all those things? Because I know it means a lot to you to be able to do that.
Um, yeah, I mean, when I got sick, it was like really hard for me because I hold on to so long for the wrong people. And when I got so worse, I was forced to let all those things go if I wanted to or not. And it was some kind of really good for me because I could reoriented myself and be more myself and just find new friends that fit more to me, and it's better than ever before. And when people are coming to you and tell you they like to hang around with you, it's just a nice feeling. And getting these things back and getting those things better back is
Hmm.
also really nice. And it's true, the comeback is always better than a setback. And sometimes when you really have to reorientate yourself,
Yeah, when you go from like functional, you have your life, and then you go backwards to like zero and have to build yourself back up again, you know,
yeah,
you bounce
yeah,
back even higher than where you were
yeah,
before.
I bounce back higher when there is no point, when there is a point of no return. It's just amazing when you see that people are calling you again and invite you again, and being happy that you're friends, and it's just nice.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. And so let's talk a bit more about the program because you've been doing really well with it. We love working with you. The coaches love you. They always say you're doing awesome in our internal meetings. Um, what would you say your top three favorite things were about Recovery Jumpstart? You mentioned one is the community, right? What are the other one or two things that stand out that was really
Um,
helpful with this program?
the first is the community. That's right. The second one is the structure, how this program is built up. And the third one, of course, are the coaches and the things you learn in this program. You really learn things for life, and it's really clear to understand. And it's just a path, you're going with this program. It's just these are the three things
Hmm.
that I think are most important.
Yeah. And when you say structure, what do you mean by structure? Is it like having those personalized plans in place?
Yeah, but not only the personalized plans. I think it's what is secondary. The primary thing is because it fits to every situation and to everyone who has CFS, is the structure how you start working to fix this program. You start internally and then you start doing physical exercise. And I think this is really good because when you're trying to recover alone, you're missing the internal changes out. You're missing them.
Hmm.
And the
So true.
program covers this.
Yeah. And that's what most people miss. They just focus on how much can they walk, how much can they do physically, but there's a whole mental side to all of this. And I want to ask you, how impactful was it being on calls with other people in a similar situation as you?
Um, it was good for me because I saw like kind of every story is really different, but we all like kind of going through the same journey, and we're just collecting things that work for everybody. And I think that was really helpful, and I learned a lot in those calls because of that.
Hmm. Yeah. There are plenty of Germans and Europeans in your group as
Yeah.
well. Lots and lots of Europeans. And you make some new friends there too, and friends who understand this in a way that most people don't understand. So I think that's
mm,
another huge thing too. You feel understood, you feel heard,
mm,
and you're not just being gaslit by doctors or
mm,
people, right?
that's true,
So
yeah.
what would you say? I mean, there's so many things that are different now than before you joined, but what would you say is the biggest difference versus now and 6 months ago?
I think the biggest progress I made is that the belief, that I believe that I can recover, that I believe that I'm in the on the right track, and that you can actually recover. That this is
Hmm.
realistic. This is not a joke. This is not a dream. this is true. You can recover from this illness.
Hmm. And that belief, what did that translate to? Like, what were you doing physically before, let's say 6 months ago, and what are you able to do now that you couldn't?
I was just laying in bed and I could not even listen to a podcast for 5 minutes. It was too much. I could not listen to music. It was way too much. I could not cook. Um, I could not go to the grocery store. I literally laid in bed.
Just stared at a wall, stared at the ceiling all day, let time go
Yes,
by. Wow,
yes,
that's amazing. And now you can dance for hours and go out. You can even, drink alcohol, right? And go to a dance festival. So it's like a totally different Annette. And it's so inspiring, you know.
yeah. I could not
It
even
shows me.
believe it myself.
Yeah, I know. You're probably like, wow. Like when I put
Yeah,
it that way, it's pretty crazy because we forget sometimes, right? It almost just feels like a bad dream, right?
yeah,
Even me, when I think about it, I'm like, did that really happen? Like, how am I here right now? And then
yeah.
there's pictures, and it did happen, you
It's
know?
crazy because today it's the first time since that I drove the car, and I just drove there 20 minutes and was listening to music and the window rolled down, the arm outside. I just drove with my dog to the forest and we went outside and then I was calling the police because they gave me like a fee because I parked not properly, and I was like arguing with those a little bit, but I was still happy, going home, making this interview, and now I sit here. I'm like, yeah, 6 months before I was just laying in bed. Now I'm here. It's not a
Wow.
dream. It's not a
Yeah, it's
dream.
not a dream. It is, it happened. You put your mind to it, you saw it, and you just follow the steps. So if you can get that much better in 6 months, imagine what can happen in another 6 months. You'll be
Yeah,
doing backflips and running marathons, you know?
I hope so. Yeah,
So
it will be like that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And we'll do another interview when you're doing all of that stuff because you'll be
Yeah.
even better, even more inspiring. You know, what would you say to someone who's sitting on the fence, who's kind of afraid to join? Like, they want to do something like this, but they're not sure if it's going to work for them. It's almost too good to be true. What would you
Mm.
say to them? What kind of words of encouragement or inspiration can you say to people who kind of need that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I know it's hard to trust other people when you're in this situation by yourself. I can tell for sure that you can trust this program. And if you trust this program, you can believe in yourself. You can do this. But you need to, this first step is you have to trust this program.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
you can
And
definitely do that.
yeah. And any words of inspiration for someone who is bedridden right now and they're watching this and they're like, wow, Annette is like superwoman.
Mm,
How did she do that? How will I ever be able to do that? And they're just in a dark hole and they're having
mm.
trouble even believing that recovery is possible. What kind of words of inspiration would you want to tell them?
Try to make small steps and live in the moment. Don't think of the past, don't think of the future. Just focus on recovery in small steps and don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah,
Just give it
that's
some
huge.
time.
Yeah, that is huge because when we're bedridden or couchbound or just at home, we have a lot of time to think, too much time to think, actually. And we regret the past and
Mm,
we're worried about the future. Will I be better by this year or by summer? And we can definitely get in our head. So staying in the
mm,
moment is huge. Do you find
mm.
that's one of the biggest things that's helped you in your journey?
Yes, it helped me, and also the program helped me to not think about everything so much. That was also a big win for me where I realized I am actually really getting better because I trusted this program and all those thoughts about recovery I just put into this program and that's it.
Hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
And I had much more time to focus really on recovery instead of just thinking of recovery.
I love that. I love that. Because before it's just you're doing a lot of calculations in your head, trying to figure
Yeah,
out all on your own. But now we have
yeah,
our chat where you could just come to the coaches and get our input, and it just
yeah,
makes it so much easier to follow.
because the program already has the path. They already tell you what you should do, so you really don't need to think about anything anymore. That's what I did. As soon as I joined the program, I just asked Adrienne, "Hey, what should I do?" And she's like texting me, "You should do this." The thing is, I fully trusted her, and I just made the things she told me, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you followed the process, which is awesome. You
Mm,
followed the process and you believed, and you really followed through on the plan. You kept
mm,
chipping away at it. And for some people, it happens quick. Some people, it takes a bit longer to have those mind shifts. But at the end of the day, you will have these mind shifts at some point, and it's amazing to
mm,
see you have all of those.
mm.
You know. So my last question is: so far, would you say it's been a good investment into the program?
Of course, of course, no doubt.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
what do they call it? What do they call those questions? It's rhetorical question. Of course, it's a great investment, right? Yeah. And is there anything else you would like to share with people?
there is definitely another side of the coin. You should believe that because there is. I am there. Just commit. Just don't give up.
Hang in there. Just gotta hang in there. No matter how dark things seem, there
And
is
things,
another side to
yeah.
the coin.
And things are getting really dark. But you're already in the dark all the time. So there is a way you can get better, and you don't need to be afraid of the dark times because you're already in there. It's just you can get better. It's getting
Hmm.
brighter and brighter.
Exactly. And when you feel like you're at rock bottom, there's only up from there. And the more intense that journey, the deeper you are in the trenches, the darker it is. Well, the brighter things will seem when things brighten up again and you have a new
Mm,
appreciation for life, a new gratitude, just like I'm sure you have, doing all
yeah.
this stuff that you used to do. Well, now it feels so much better doing it because you can appreciate it,
Mm,
every single small thing because you've been deprived of it before.
yes.
You appreciate it more, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But I really appreciate your time, Annette. I hope you guys got some inspiration out of this. I mean, this is amazing. Annette was bedridden 6 months ago in her room, staring at a wall, couldn't even go out, could barely move around.
Mm,
And she's been on a couple trips recently and being able to dance for hours. She's really got her life back. And it's just so inspiring, shows you what's possible. And this is just the start, Annette. This is the exciting part. You're just
mm.
starting to get your life back, and it gets better and better and better. And this is one of the most exciting parts of recovery when you start to do all of these things again. So I'm so excited for you, and just keep it up. Keep on
Thanks.
thriving,
Of course.
and yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video or got some value out of it, comment down below your favorite part. Is there something that you resonated with Annette's story? And make sure to leave a comment, hit that like button, and always remember that you are a thriver and you are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. See you in the next video.